lingkungan, dampak kerusakan lingkungan, dan perubahan iklim itu sekarang betul-betul sangat kelihatan dan nampak nyata. Kerusakan lingkungan yang telah banyak mengakibatkan bencana banjir, tanah longsor, kekeringan, dan musibah-musibah lainnya. Dan perubahan iklim dunia telah mengakibatkan musim yang tidak menentu, perubahan suhu yang sudah kita rasakan, dan juga kenaikan air laut.
Greenhouse gas emissions are at record levels and growing. The commitment to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees is nearly going up in smoke. Without further action, we are headed to a 2.8 degree increase, and the consequences, as we all know, would be devastating.
Now that's very scary. Why? Because it's a race against time for many of us, and simply because we experience the burn, the heat waves, much faster, harder, and in a kind of scale that I don't think the human race has seen.
20 countries, 20 economies equal 80% of all the emissions. You solve the problem to start with by making sure all of those 20 countries are doing what they need to do, and that includes the United States, China, Russia, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Brazil, you know who they are. We have to pull them to the table and leverage further, and I think that's doable. But time is, in fact, running out on us.
Kiamat-kiamat kecil mulai bermunculan di permukaan bumi seiring dengan adanya ancaman krisis iklim. Krisis iklim ini dampaknya lebih besar dari pandemi COVID-19. Bahkan Sekjen PBB Antonio Guterres menyebut bahwa ancaman krisis iklim lebih nyata dan memberinya kode merah. Negara-negara di dunia wajib bergandengan tangan bersama-sama, baik itu negara maju maupun negara berkembang, untuk menghadapi tantangannya. Saya, Safrina Nasution, akan berdiskusi tentang krisis iklim yang dihadapi dunia, ancamannya terhadap ekonomi dunia, dan bagaimana cara mengantisipasi krisis iklim dan kiamat-kiamat kecil yang mungkin terjadi di Indonesia. Bersama dengan Perdana Menteri ke-19 Kanada, Her Excellency Kim Campbell, Presiden Meksiko 2006 sampai 2012, Felipe Calderon, selengkapnya di Prime Words CNBC Indonesia. Dan telah bergabung bersama kami secara eksklusif di Prime Words CNBC Indonesia, a member of Climate Overshoot Commission and also a former president of Mexico, Mr. Felipe Calderon. ¿Cómo estás, Mr.? Muy bien. First of all, probably thank you so much for being with us in CNBC Indonesia. Welcome to Jakarta and welcome to Indonesia.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy.
And we're also very honored to have you here. So let me first start with, tell me about your visit here in Indonesia. What sort of agendas you have while you are here?
Well, we have a very special session of the Climate Overshoot Commission, which is an independent body integrated by former head of states, former head of government, scientists, former minister of several offices in different governments. What we are doing is researching and exploring and trying to provide some conclusions about what happens if we don't reach the limit of 1.5 Celsius degrees as a maximum level of global warming. So the overshooting means like exceeding those limits. Of course, we all want to keep those limits controlled, but we definitely see that under the current trends, is not going to be possible. At least there are some bold changes in the behavior of the governments, communities, industries, etc., in order to speed up the reduction of carbon emissions around the globe. So the mission of the Climate Overshoot Commission is to explore what happens if we exceed those limits.
What happened if we exceed those limits because of the climate crisis?
Indeed.
In terms of climate crisis, sir, we see that the action towards climate crisis is a necessity for all the people around the world. And however, the world right now we see is not at its best performance. There are a lot of challenges in terms of economy. We see the challenge of inflation, challenge of recession, and also the tension of geopolitical from Russia and war, which we didn't know exactly when it will finish. Do you think that this is now still the right moment to prioritize to anticipate climate crisis above all?
It's gonna be the most global and the most demanding challenge of this century, definitely. In the sense that only working together around the globe, we can face the problem and we can fix it. And actually, regardless that there are a lot of troubles around, we need to understand that with the proper measure, we can address all of them. For instance, you talk about recessions and the necessity to increase the economic growth and to get poverty alleviation. I believe I was chairing the so-called the Global Commissions on Economy and Climate, the new Climate Economy Commission before, and we concluded after very important researching that there are not contradictions between economic growth and being responsible with climate. It is possible to have economic growth, poverty alleviation, job creation, and at the same time to reduce carbon emissions in order to minimize climate change. Yes. Actually, I don't see a chance to have real economic growth, sustainable, without taking the route of what we call the new climate economy. And also, we talk about the invasion of Ukraine, which of course I reject and refuse and condemn, but that implies an increase in the price of energy, right? So, well, we need to think that it's time to take action in order to not rely anymore on fossil fuels, not rely in resources that are concentrated or allocated in this or in that country. We can rely in renewable energy. We can rely on the power of the sun, the power of the wind, the power of the sea. We can build our buildings in a different way. And yes, it implies a period of transition, but definitely the lessons of the war, of the invasion of Ukraine and the peak of the prices of oil and gas is it is time to move faster in the energy transition to renewables and to energy.
So you think what happened in this world actually is the lesson learned to speed up the climate action?
Definitely. So what it shows us that we cannot rely anymore in fossil fuels, not only for climate risk, which is probably still the most important, but also for security reasons for Europe, for Asia, for a lot of countries. Fossil fuels is a risky business for investors that can be trapped in what is called stranded assets.
Yeah.
In turn. And also it's a risk for countries that we are seeing. So we need to speed up in terms of renewables. The cost in terms of human lives and respiratory diseases, including cancer, pneumonias, for kids, for elderly people, for everyone, related with pollution coming from coal. So you will see the cost of that is so expensive.